Hi, my name is Lanizanta. I'm 18 years old and I live in Chilliwack, British Columbia, Canada.
Hello, my name is Sophie. I'm 18 years old. I'm from Victoria on Vancouver Island, Canada, but right now I'm in Vancouver City for university.
Hi, my name is Beatrice Fowler Campbell. I'm 17 years old. I'm from Owen Sound, Ontario.
Allo, 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 bom dia. My name is Darren, and I'm 19 years old. I live in Mississauga, Ontario. I'm so happy to be making this video for you and to share with you what living in Canada's political atmosphere is like. So in Canada, we live in what's called a constitutional monarchy. That is to say that technically we are not a democracy. However, the way our government is set up, it acts as a normal democracy, but the reigning king or queen in the UK has to sign off on any law or policy changes, as well as elections in Canada. That being said, they don't have a choice on whether they sign off on it or not. I think this system works just as well as a normal democracy, and I like the element of tradition that it has. The Canadian government is divided into 3 tiers, which are the municipal, provincial, and federal branches. The municipal takes care of the needs within the cities and towns, such as garbage removal and snow removal. The provincial government covers things like healthcare, highways, and education. And lastly, the federal, which represents the whole country, covers things like currency, First Nations affairs, military, and foreign affairs. These 3 branches are governed by one of the 3 political parties, the right-wing Conservatives, the left-wing NDP, and the middle ground Liberal. As a whole, all of these parties lean to a more socialist government compared to other countries.
And this is a really interesting question because last year we had our most recent federal election, so for the Canadian government. They happen every 4 years. But before last year we had actually had our Conservative Party in power for 10 years until last year's election when the Canadian Liberal Party won. Now we have Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, and we have a Liberal Party in power for the first time in a while, which is pretty exciting. So in terms of federal government and provincial government, I'm feeling positive about the direction that things are going.
I think that my government is it's very good. We have some good political leaders. We have good parties.
I think my government is okay, like it could be a lot worse. If I could change something, so either wish that the Governor General was actually elected or had less power.
Something that I would want to change about the government would probably be having more tax for people with more money, and having less for people who are more in need.
Personally, I think this system works out pretty well, and the only thing that I would change is that the voting period for all of these levels is 4 years. 4 years is a long time, and a lot can get messed up if the right party isn't in power, or if there's a little bit like of a corruption. Kind of why I would just want a 2-year term instead of a 4-year term, just to have less chance of corruption.
I definitely do think that Canadians are interested in politics. We learn about them in school. In the 10th grade, we have a whole class, like a mandatory class that you have to take about politics. I think that Canadians are very involved in politics, and I think that they're very invested.
So I did take my role as a voting citizen very seriously. I did my research on the different parties. I actually worked the election, and it was really educational for me. I got like an inside view into the voting process, which was really cool.
I do believe that as a whole, Canadians are interested in politics. There are a few who don't, and I think that they need to realize that they can make a difference in the way our citizens live and the freedoms we enjoy. After looking at the policies, people usually find they agree with one of the 3 main parties. There are other people who find other smaller parties to support, including the Green Party and the Bloc Québécois. And there are other people who don't side with any of the 3 parties or any of the smaller parties, and so they abstain from elections. All in all, I think people are educated in terms of politics, and they generally want to take a role in our government.
Yes, and given what happened in the most recent federal and provincial elections, I think that, yeah, Canadians do have an active voice in politics.
The citizens in Canada do have an active voice in politics. There are lots of ways to get involved with the parties and thus give Canadians a voice and allow their voice to be heard.
Also, not particularly. There's not that many if you go to the US, there's more strong political views, and in Canada, I'd say people are pretty, I don't know, there's not that many radical viewpoints in Canada.
Definitely. Living in a democratic society, everyone has the right to vote. Here, the legal voting age is 18, which I think is reasonable considering that's when we finish high school and we have enough knowledge about the society to make an informed decision about what we are voting for.
I'm proud to live in a democracy, yeah. I mean, on paper, democracy sounds great. What's important is whether or not it works in practice, and in practice, democracy is working for Canadians.
I'm proud of my country's political system for the most part, because it's alright. There's not that much corruption, and for the most part, it is, and I like Justin Trudeau for the most part.
I'm fairly proud of the country's political system. I think it's a good system. It works, it's effective.
I love our political system. I like that it still has the sense of tradition and connects to our roots as part of the British Commonwealth, but I also love that it has all the elements of a normal democracy.
I know that Canada has been voted one of the safest places to live. I think that's pretty cool.
How Canadians do, they are able to have their voice. I feel like in some countries you don't always get that chance to have your voice heard, and I think that freedom of speech is very important in Canada, and I feel like people really respect everybody's right to have their opinions and to share their opinions.
You almost only ever hear positive things about Canada on a global scale, and I know it's our country's a bit of a joke, but I think it's a good stereotype that we're nice people, that we're polite. Yeah, I think it's great.
But I don't know, the kind of embodiment of niceness makes me proud to be Canadian, is that we're known for being nice.
Is the fact that I live in a country that welcomes all sorts of people, and the opinions of those people are valued and respected. In Canada, we call ourselves a cultural mosaic, meaning that everyone becomes Canadian, but they also retain a lot of their own culture.
Thank you for listening. I really hope that this video helped, and I hope that you were able to learn something new about Canadian government. Ciao!
Thank you very much for listening to me talk about my country. I hope you have a good day. Bye!